Hey everybody, welcome back. It is freezing cold outside, minus 20 something Celsius. The wind's roaring, but we got a nice hot fire going in here. And it takes about 45 minutes to an hour to get it hot in here, but I just try and make a fire before I want to get to work. And after that, I don't know if you guys could hear, but I have a fan system that blows air around. It's about I think it's a 300 CFM fan mounted in the ceiling, and I have ductwork, and it blows the air around and actually keeps it nice and warm in here. I'm ready to start working on the 064. Saw it was donated to the channel this summer, mid-summer, by some locals from Manitoba. Hey boys, how's it going? Hope everything worked out with the fires, and hope you guys are doing well. And so I got this 064. It was donated to the channel, and it was a runner, but not a runner. It needed some clutch work and various other things. So let's inspect some of the parts, and let's see if we can get this thing started today. Let's put a bottom end together, and let's take a look at the crankshaft. There was a major issue with the crankshaft, and I'm going to attempt to repair it. So let's get to the bench and have a look at that. Well, before we put the bottom end together, the main thing you want to do, especially on a saw this old, inspect all of your parts. Oh, and that reminds me of something. Somebody left a message and said there should be a stamp on the bottom of the handle, and that should tell you the age. 11307. That's the part number, I'm guessing. 1122 791 1000. Anybody know what that means? Hopefully you're back, whoever posted that, but somebody said should be able to tell by these numbers. Anyhow, back to what we're doing. Okay, so the biggest issue is this crankshaft is broken. Okay, it's cracked at the end. It's sustained an impact. And the biggest issue is this clip. This clip only, see, it falls off. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this over to my lathe, and, well, what I'll do, friends, is I'm going to weld this. I'm going to build this up with weld, little tacks. Okay, then I'll take my lathe and I'll cut a new groove. Okay, I'm going to chuck this in between centers, and I'm going to put a bungee cord through here to keep this from flopping around. Okay, I'll be right back. Hopefully this works. Okay, we'll put this down here. Okay, you can see I've just built up the end of it with tack welds, trying to keep it cool. It didn't get too hot. You can see it's a little discolored, but that's what we got to do. Not really a lot of strength needed here. Again, I want strength in this area, so I tried to keep it as cool as possible. And just one little tack, let it cool down. One little tack, let it cool down, kind of thing. Now what I got to do, I'm going to have to chuck this in my lathe, probably from this end, and I'll cut the end of it flat, dress it up a bit, and then I'll have to use a center drill and see if I can drill this end back, and then we'll put it between centers. Just give me a few minutes, I'll see if I can get that done. Well, that went pretty well. I've never done a repair quite like that. And you could tell that I've repaired it, but it's, well, it's pretty nice. Everything went well. I was having a hard time center drilling because, of course, I got some weld kind of halfway. I probably should have just welded this whole end up, cut it flush, and then drilled a new hole, but I didn't do that. It worked out okay, though. I ended up grinding a tool with the right taper on it, and I just made sure it was centered, and I rounded in there and cut a new groove, and then round this between centers. Again, with a bungee cord through here and tied, just to keep this from flopping around, and faced it, and then I cut this off so that it's round, and then just polished it, and I made a tool, a thin tool, which is kind of sketchy, and slowly rounded in there at a very low speed and cut that groove again. That took the longest. Okay, and now if you look at this, okay, it spins around freely, and it's stuck on there. It's not going to come off. So I think that should be a fairly permanent repair. Again, let's check the threads. I do have, where is it here? I do have a brand new clutch from Wolf Creek. We're going to replace the clutch on this saw. It was extremely rattly. So let's just check this clutch. Likely I could replace the springs, but this clutch, it's got some wear on it. Okay. There we go. Oh yeah, the threads are even nicer on this new clutch. These threads are kind of, I don't know, they got some hard spots in them. I think this actually goes underneath. That doesn't, I guess that don't matter for right now. And let's grab this. This is a new clutch drum, again from Wolf Creek Saw Shop. Clutch drum was in here. Here's the new clutch assembly. It's a highway. Again, one-stop saw shop. You need parts. Ryan's got most saws covered. Most of your pro saws. Because let's be honest, with the cost of parts these days, it's not really worth it to redo a non-pro saw. Although some of you guys do it. I get emails all the time. Those of you that have had a saw forever and you want to fix it. Okay, and there we go. Okay, no play there. I did have to reface the shaft. But yeah, this is perfect. I'm happy. Again, having a lathe is a great thing. I fix things all the time with my lathe. Again, we had to smooth that because there was some splatter on there. And again, I just welded that with my Lincoln 110 MIG welder. And gasless, it works fine. I weld with it all the time. And I actually had to turn it down quite a bit because it had way too much go for this repair. So it's always nice to have more welder than you need. It's rare that I found a situation, even welding plate with that thing, that I can't just weld. I've welded up to 1/4 inch with it and gotten good penetration. Okay, give me a second here. Here's our cases. I never took the bearings out. Bearings actually felt good in this thing. They still feel good, but I'm going to replace them. Okay, and again, the seals on these are pressed into the bearings. I usually pull my seals out with this. Made it years ago. See if we can get her out. Okay, there you go. Pull it out, slap your thumb with it. And again, this has plastic race bearings in it, so I'm guessing these have been replaced. I don't think they had plastic bearings in this era. Maybe I'm wrong. Again, I'm not a Stihl guy. Wow. Weird. Was that ever loose in there, friends? Very, very strange. Maybe I just hooked it right. What I'll likely do when we put the new one in, I'm going to put some glue in there. I'll put some Moto Seal. And we will glue the new seal in. Okay. And again, bearings in there. And this one has a plastic race too. So, this is what it is. Okay. Probably off camera. I'll give these things a good wipe and clean. I'll take a knife blade and I'll, I usually like to do it on 2 sections. This gasket is thoroughly stuck, so this is going to take me a little while, but I just go along like this and just gently scrape, not damaging anything. I may pull these pins out. They're very tight, which will likely hold us up putting it back together. Okay, and I just go around like that. This side has most of the gasket on it still. Okay, and you just try and get underneath it. It is always preferable if you can get your gasket off in one piece. Try not to cut yourself. In my younger days, I would have sliced myself there because I would have pushed hard. Then I'd end up in the hospital. My mom can verify that. If you guys ever see her at a event, ask her if I used to cut myself a lot as a kid, and she'll say, oh yeah, I think that was in preparation for becoming a sheet metal worker. Because, well, if you know any sheet metal workers, you know we're kind of a twisted bunch. We cut ourselves a lot. Just it's the nature of the beast. You're working with very sharp things, and if you're in residential like I am, you got tight spaces and you're working fast. Because, well, unfortunately, modern construction is a game of speed. With the cost of everything, it seems like build times are getting shorter and shorter, which means you got to work faster and faster, which means, well, you got to, hopefully you keep your hands in good shape. Anyways, you guys get the idea. Okay, I'm going to clean all that up. I'm going to give these a quick spray and wipe. We're not going for a concourse restoration here. Just going to clean this up and make it something that looks, more presentable. I'll be back when I have this clean. Okay, I got everything laid out. Clean, shiny. I checked the paint here, make sure none of it's coming off. Stihls tend to shed paint as they get older. This seems to be fine. It's not coming off with my finger. I scraped it a little bit, so we're going to leave that. And this side's good. So first thing we're going to do, I'm going to grab my heat gun. This one, I don't know how many watts this is. I think this thing's like 1500 watts, 1600 watts. It's a big one. You can light fires with it. And I'm just going to heat up the cases. And I won't make you guys sit through all that. Okay. This one's going to go down. Okay. And this one, well, it should just fall out. Now again, these are proprietary on the clutch side, like pretty much all Stihls. So, I believe this is I can see it right here. This is an NTN in here, so this one's been done. 6203 is what this one is. This is basically a 6203, but the Stihl version of it. Okay, and all I do, this is a 1/2 inch socket. I'll have that in there. I'll drive it out with a hammer after it's gotten nice and warm. Okay, I'll get this set up. Okay, let's get this thing rocking and rolling. Okay, and I'll just heat this up till it's smoking, basically. I'm not even going to use my temp gun today, although you can use one if you so desire. Okay, I'm going to heat this up and pound it out. Okay, I got my temp gun here. Just heating this thing up. I'll heat it till about 250. You see we're at 170 right now. Don't rush it. The worst thing you can do when installing bearings or taking bearings out is not heat it up enough. Get it nice and hot. Too hot, you'll never have a problem. Too cold, and they'll get stuck halfway in or halfway out. Okay, I'm just going to heat this up and pound it out. Okay, and these cases are really thick, so I've flipped it around. So I want to heat both sides. When you start smelling the oil coming out of the case, you know you're starting to get close. Okay, I'll flip this back over. Where are we at? We're at 280, 260. Okay, let's see what we got. Okay, I'll put this in here and see that? Fell right out. Okay, I'll just put that off to one side and let it cool down. Okay, here's the other side. Same thing. Heat it up with the gun. 250, 275, somewhere around there is the sweet spot, I find. Usually what happens with these ones is they just fall right out. Same thing, I just flipped it over. A little bit of heat on this side. Okay, this side's thick. We're between 200 and 240, so we're getting close. I'll flip it back over. Check it again. See, we're not quite there yet. Okay, we're close. This side's usually harder to get out. There's more material here. Just showing you guys this so that you can see. Okay, we're anywhere from 240 to 200. Okay, I'm going to take this socket, big socket here, and just gentle taps. Okay, out she came. That went pretty well, I would say. Okay. And let this cool down, and we'll start our prep on the crankshaft. Okay, we're looking inside there. It's all full of grime and crud. I'm going to clean that out. Okay, I'm going to start from this side. This side has the location dowels. That'll be the side that usually that I put my gasket on, but we got to clean that up first. Okay, now that we got our bearings removed, we got our cases cleaned up, they're ready to rock and roll. Now I'll take this and I'm ever so carefully going to heat it up, okay, and put it on the crankshaft. Okay, notice if you've never done this before, these are an interference fit. Okay, I tend to put these on the crank when they have plastic bearings. You do you. If you want to put them in the case first, that works too. I always have better luck. The key is I don't want to melt these races. I have scorched them a few times. I've never had one come apart, but still, I try and be careful. Okay, so I'm going to take this brand new bearing. I'm going to put this on one. Okay, little to no heat coming out of it. And I'm just going to heat this bearing up just a little bit, okay, from the side. I'm not going to blow from the top. Okay, maybe I'll put it on 2. Okay, and I'm just going to heat this thing up. Yes, I'm heating it from the outside, but I should transfer the heat to this inner race, okay? Just carefully. Now, usually what happens is you can heat this up just enough. It doesn't take much. And this crankshaft is cold, okay? It's cold to the touch. I used to leave them outside in winter, back in the olden days. Okay, let's see if this works. Nope, not hot enough. Okay, we'll just keep going. Okay, I'm gonna get brave now. If I melt this, it's my own fault. Okay, just hold it far enough away. Again, don't hold it anywhere. Okay. Take it. And I didn't get it again, friends. Okay, we're going to try this again. I will get it. Okay, just like that. Now notice it's all the way into the crankshaft. We can adjust it after. Okay, now I'll do the other side. This is a 6203. I have a feeling this is not going to have a plastic race. This is an FAG bearing. I've been using these for years and years and years. I love these bearings. These are my favorite bearings. I've been using these things forever. This is a metal race. Okay, this one I could just hammer it. Just don't discolor it. Although I remember years ago, my 365, my buddy and I left a heat gun just blowing on the bearing, and we were splitting firewood in the back, running saws, and we forgot about it. When I came back, it was like gold. Well, I threw that bearing in that saw, and well, that was 7-8 years ago. Still running, no problems, and it's ported. So We do the things we do because it makes us feel better, doesn't it? Okay, I'm just going to heat this right up nicely. This one will just plop right on there, you watch, because I'm actually giving it the full oomph. Okay, let's get you guys a little bit closer. Okay, grab it with these. You can see this is smoking a little bit. Okay, grab this, put it on there, done. Okay, just leave it to cool down. Okay, now what we'll do, this is the clutch side, or the flywheel side. Try not to put your crank in backwards. Yes, I've done it. There's some discoloration in the case here, but I'm not worried about it. I scrubbed it good. Okay, now all I'm going to do is I'm going to heat this case up, same as I did last time. You heat it up to about 250 degrees and drop the crank right into it. Okay, and where are we at now? Okay, 270, 250, 300. I'm going to put the heat back on this. These cool down real quick. So, okay, I'm going to get my crankshaft ready. There you go. One side done. Okay. Now we're going to just let that cool down a bit. It won't come out, okay? The minute you put your crank in there, that bearing, it's done. It's not going anywhere. But let it cool down a bit. Okay, now, while we're letting it cool down, let's look at our parts. Got a parts kit here, a seal kit from Wolf Creek. There's the part number if you are so inclined to order one. And I'll just cut this open. You see there's two different size crank seals. I think mine's the bigger one. I like these highway kits because if there is different parts, they'll include them. I've been using these things for years. You guys know the deal if you've been here. I've been using this stuff forever. And it works good. And I have little to no issues with it. You know, the amount of this stuff I've used and how few problems I've had with it over the years. Okay, I'm just going to cut that off camera. Okay, we got our gasket. These cases cleaned up pretty nice, so I'm not even going to put sealant on these. I used to do that, but I find by the time you get your case together, you kind of end up with dry sealant. It doesn't really do much of anything is what I found. Your results may vary. Again, guys, this is just how I do it. There's a million other ways to do it. The point is to get you going, not to harp at you and say you got to do this and you got to do that. That's never been my style, and will never be my style. Okay, so I got my case bolts. They're fairly clean. I'm just going to clean all the heads out of them so we don't have any problems when we're torquing this down. Now, one note, this bearing here, okay, this goes into a hole that goes through. There's no shoulder. If your bearing goes through too far, your oil pump will not fit on there. So you can either bolt this metal oil pump to there and use it as a shoulder, okay? Or you can put the bearing on the crank and put it all the way in like I did. I'm not even going to use this. If I have to heat it up later, I will and push this further on. But we're gonna do this the simple way, and hopefully we don't have any problems. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to heat this case up, and once it gets to be smoking hot, I'm going to drop it on, and hopefully it goes together nice. You guys have seen me do this a bazillion times. Sometimes it goes good, sometimes it goes horrible. Now all I'm going to do is I'm going to move this back here so that I'm working in a confined space or a tight space. Okay, now probably what I'll do is I'm going to flip this over and I'm going to heat it upside down. I have cleaned this bearing pocket. I got a rag here, a towel to grab it with. Super important to lay everything out. I got all my screws here. I have my Allen key ready to rock and roll right here, or my Torx key. Okay, let's get this rocking and rolling. Again, This one, I want this at about 300 before I drop it on, because I tend to have issues with these. Okay, we'll just get this thing smoking hot. Okay, I got this thing to about 250 to 300. Okay, this is where we gotta work super fast. I'm grabbing my rag. Okay, here we go. Oh, and it didn't go, friends. Okay, let's take it off. I'll do it again. I fumbled too much. Hold on a second. Okay, we're gonna give this another go. I grabbed 2 rags this time. Okay, here we go. No, it's not gonna go, friends. This thing's tight. Okay, well, we're gonna try and pull it in with the bolts. Maybe they'll pull it in, maybe they won't. I hate doing it this way, but I've tried, well, I've tried twice off camera, well, on camera, but you guys are seeing it as one, and it's not going together, so we're just going to see if we can get this started. See if we can gently pull it together with the cases. Give me a second here. Okay, I got my bolts started. Again, I'm going to gently pull this in. It should go. Stihl bearing pockets tend to be really tight. This one is no different than most of the ones. Okay, now this thing's so hot, I'm having a hard time touching it. Okay, and you guys can see from the top, we're just gently pulling this together. Do not reef on it, okay? Gently pull it together. Put one here. Okay, and it's going together easily. I'm not fighting it. Try and keep my hand out of the way. There will be a lot of side load on this bearing. We're gonna have to relieve it. I don't like putting them together like this, but sometimes this is the way they go. I'd like to buy a set of those crank puller tools. There used to be guys making them. I wish I got a set. Well, guys were still on that train. I don't know if guys are still making them now, but helps if I put it on the screw. Okay, just a quarter turn at a time. All I'm doing is looking to make sure it's going together straight. Okay, not on an angle. I don't want to wallow out that bearing pocket. Okay, and I will do this front one. I actually like when they don't go smoothly, because then you guys see the real deal. Man, this thing's hot. My welding gloves are not in the shop right now. They're in my truck. I needed them for capturing a wild animal, and I've never taken them out. They've been in there for a bit. Okay. We caught a hawk this not that long ago, friends. It was hit by a car. We took it to an animal sanctuary, and yeah, anyhow, so I put my welding gloves on and grabbed the hawk. There we go. There, and it's getting all the way together. See, friends, don't panic. And if you look, that bearing is flush with the case, exactly where I wanted it, because the oil pump is going to be the sleeve. Okay, there we go. She's tight. Okay, we'll go cross pattern. Okay, and there's 2 more that I'm going to put in at the front. There's one here. And there's one there. Try not to block it. I decided not to fix that broken part of the case. I heated it and it just wouldn't move, and I thought, you know, it'd be a shame to break that off. It's not super noticeable. It would be if I broke it off, so I decided to just leave her. Okay. Now, friends, well, it's not horrible. This crank is pretty tight in there. It has some side load on it. We do not want that. Okay. I'm going to reef this down. Now, what I will do at this moment is I'm going to put the oil pump on, because if we hit this thing over to relieve the side load... Oh, I don't think these are the right screws. Well, I guess we'll find out pretty quick here. They might be too long. Yep. Okay, well, I guess we better get the right screws. Okay, hold on, friends. Okay, we got the oil pump on there now. Now I'm going to take this dead blow hammer, okay, and I'm going to hit the crankshaft. Okay, I just got to move you guys up here a bit so you can see. Okay, this will relieve the side load. Didn't go. I might have to get my brass hammer, but we'll... Well, it's getting better. Give me a second here. I actually usually use this one. Again, you don't want to wreck the threads or damage the end of the crankshaft, which likely is how that crankshaft got broken. Still a little bit tight. There we go. And I'm just going to keep hitting it. Now, this case is still really hot, so it may not loosen up until the case cools off, but... Oh, there we go. And again, friends, you can see there's a little more space here than there is here. We want this crankshaft centered. Okay, which means I got to hit it this way. Yeah, and every time I hit this, it gets looser. There we go. Now, likely I'll hit it this way and it'll be good. I gotta go to the other shop and get my brass hammer. I have a brass-faced hammer that I use this, and if this doesn't get it, then I'll use a brass-faced hammer, but you guys get the idea. Oh, there we go. Okay, it's nice and loose. I'm gonna hit it one more time. It's almost moved over. Okay, and then we'll hit it once the other way. I think we got it, friends. It's pretty loose. Again, once this thing cools off, like tomorrow. There. Okay, there you guys go. It's nice and loose now. It's not binding. It feels smooth to the touch. Okay, and then we'll take this. We'll give them another little turn. There we go. This one. Inspect our gasket. Look, it's poking through all the way around. The only parts you have to cut on these is right here. There's a slight little bit. And again, friends, you can see that that gasket's sticking out. And likely what I'll do it right now. I'll take this. Yeah. Cut it there and there. There you go. One more little piece here that needs to be cut off. Okay, there we go. And again, friends, as this cools down, it's probably going to need another whack, but we'll leave it like that for now. Okay, guys. Thanks for watching. Take her easy. That's how easy it is to do a crankshaft. It's not that hard. Take your time, and again, if it doesn't want to go in, pull it together with the case bolts. Just do it gently. You won't break anything, I promise you. Later.